Is it doing anything?
Are you recording
I'm trying to read.
on YouTube? Dude, you're doing a live stream.
Yeah, because I don't want to save anything on the computer. It takes too much space. All right.
Why are you recording that?
I want to save something so if you don't listen to it, you can
it's a live stream.
Really?
Actually, I think it might. But
let's just try today. I don't know.
I'm gonna try to watch you.
Watch me?
Yeah.
Did I already start it? But you're not supposed to watch screens to protect your eyes. Can I start? I don't mind. I'm starting. Chapter 12. At least I'm not on goat chasing duty. In the hallway, my neighbors were starting to emerge. Thomas Jefferson Jr. looked about my age. He had short, curly hair, a lanky frame, and a rifle slung over one shoulder. His blue woolen coat had brass buttons and chevrons on the sleeves. A U.S. Army Civil War uniform, I guessed. He nodded and smiled. How you doing? Dead, apparently, I said. He laughed. Yeah, you'll get used to it. Call me TJ. Magnus, I said. Come on. Sam pulled me along. We passed a girl who must have been Melanie King. She had frizzy red hair, green eyes, and a serrated knife, which she was shaking in the face of a 6'7" guy outside the door marked X. Again, with the pig's head, Mallory King spoke in a faint Irish brogue. X, do you think I want to see a severed pig's head every time I step out on my front door? I could not eat any more, X rumbled. The pig head does not fit in my refrigerator. Personally, I would not have antagonized the guy. He was built like a bomb containment chamber. If you happened to have a live grenade, I was pretty sure you could safely dispose of it simply by asking X to swallow it. His skin was the color. Okay. His skin was the color of a shark's belly, rippling with muscles and stippled with warts. There were so many welts on his face, it was hard to tell which one was his nose. We walked past, X and Mallory too busy arguing to pay us any attention. When we were out of earshot, I asked Sam, "What's the deal with the pig gray dude?" Sam put her finger to her lips. Huh? Okay. X is a half-troll. He's a little sensitive about that. A half-troll? That's an actual thing? Of course, she said. That's an actual thing? Of course, she said. Oh, you got delays. Put it a little bit farther from me. Oh, where was it? And he deserves to be here as much as you. Hey, no doubt, just asking. The defensiveness in her voice made me wonder what the story was. As we passed the door for half-born Gunderson, an axe-blade split the wood from the inside. Muffled laughter came from the room. Sam ushered me onto the elevator. She pushed away several other in-hair-jar. What is that? Who were trying to get on. Next car, guys. The spare cage door slid shut. Sam inserted one of her keys into an override slot on the panel. She pressed the red room, and the elevator descended. I'll take you into the dining hall before the main doors open. That way you can get the lay of the land. Sure, thanks. Nordic easy listening music started playing from the ceiling. Congratulations, Magnus, I thought. Welcome to Warrior Paradise, where you can listen to Frank Sinatra in Norwegian forever. I tried to think of something to say, preferably something that would not make Sam crush my windpipe. So everybody on the floor 19 looks about my age, I noted. Or our age. Does Valhalla only take teenagers? Samira shook her head. The in her jar are grouped by the age they were when they died. You're in the youngest tier, which goes up to about age 19. Most of the time, you won't even see the other two tiers, adults and seniors. It's better that way. The adults, well, they don't take teens seriously, even if the teens have been here hundreds of years longer. Typical, I said. As for the senior warriors, they don't always mix well. Imagine a really violent retirement home. Sounds like some shelters have been in. Shelters? Forget it. So you are a Valkyrie. You choose all the people in the hotel? Yes, she said. I personally choose everyone in this hotel. Haha, you know what I meant. Your sisterhood or whatever. That's right. Valkyries are responsible for choosing the inherit. Each warrior here died a valiant death. Each had a belief in honor or some connection to the Norse gods that made him or her eligible for Valhalla. I thought about what Uncle Randolph had told me, how the sword had been a birthright from my father, a connection, like being the child of a god. I was afraid Sam might laugh at me, but she nodded gravely. Many in Hera are demigods, many are regular mortals. You're chosen for Valhalla because of your courage and honor, not your heritage. At least that's how it's supposed to be. I couldn't decide if her tone was wistful or resentful. And you? I asked. How did you become a Valkyrie? Did you die a noble death? She laughed. Not yet. I'm still among the living. How does that work exactly? Well, I live a double life. Tonight, I'll escort you to dinner. Then I have to rush home and finish my calculus homework. You're not joking, are you? I never joke about calculus homework. The elevator doors opened. We stepped into the room the size of a concert arena. My mouth dropped. Holy. Welcome, Samira said, to the feast hall of the slain. Tiers of long tables like stadium seating curved downward from the nosebleed section. In the center of the room, instead of a basketball court, a tree rose taller than the Statue of Liberty. Its lowest branches were maybe 100 feet up, its canopy spread over the entire hall, scraping against the domed ceiling and sprouting through a massive opening at the top. Above, stars glittered in the night sky. My first question probably wasn't the most important. Why is there a goat in the tree? In fact, a lot of animals skittered among the branches. I couldn't tell what most of them were, but wobbling among the lowest branch was a very fat, shaggy goat. Its swollen udders rained milk like leaky shower heads. Below, on the dining hall floor, a team of four stocky warriors carried a big golden bucket on poles set across their shoulders. They shoveled back and forth, trying to stay under the goat so that they could catch the streams of milk. Judging by how soaked the warriors were, they missed a lot. The goat is Hendrum, Sam told me. Her milk is brewed to make the meat of Valhalla. It's good stuff, you will see. And the guys chasing her around? Yeah, that's the thankless job. Behave yourself, or you might get assigned to vet duty. Oh, couldn't they just, I don't know, bring the goat down here? She's a free-range goat. Her meat tastes better that way. Of course it does, I said. And all the other animals? I see squirrels and possums and sugar gliders and sloths, Sam offered. Those are cute. Okay, but you guys eat dinner here. That can't be hygienic with all the animal droppings. The animals in the tree of Laradar are well behaved. The tree of Laradar. You named your tree. Most important things have names. She frowned at me. Who are you again? Very funny. Some of the animals are immortal and have particular jobs. I can't spot him right now, but somewhere up there is a stag named Aesrigmir. We call him Ike for short. You see that waterfall? It was hard to miss. From somewhere high in the tree, water ran down grooves in the bark and formed one powerful torrent that cascaded off a branch in a roaring white curtain. It crashed into the pond the size of an Olympic pool between two of the tree's roots. The stag's horns spray water nonstop, Sam said. It flows down the branches into that lake. From there, it goes underground and feeds every river in every world. So all water is staghorn runoff? I'm pretty sure that's not what they taught me in earth science. It's not all from Ike's horns. There is also snowmelt, rainwater, pollutants, and trace amounts of fluoride and Jotun spit. Jotun? You know, giants. She didn't appear to be kidding, though it was hard to be sure. Her face was full of a tense humor, her eyes darting and alert, her lips pressed together like she was either suppressing a laugh or expecting an attack. I could imagine her doing stand-up comedy, though maybe not with the axe at her side. Her features also seemed strangely familiar. The line of her nose, the curve of her jaw, the subtle streaks of red and copper in her dark hair. Have we met before? I asked. I mean, before you chose my soul for Valhalla? I doubt it, she said. But you're mortal. You live in Boston? Dorchester. I'm a sophomore at King Academy. I live with my grandparents and spend most of my time finding excuses to cover for my vicary activities. Tonight, Jade and Baby think I'm tutoring a group of elementary students in math. Any other questions? Her eyes sent the opposite message. Enough with the personal stuff. I wondered why she lived with her grandparents. Then I remembered what she said earlier about understanding what it was like to grieve for a mother. No more questions, I decided. My head would explode. That'll be messy, Sam said. Let's get your seat before, around the perimeter of the room, 100 doors burst open. The armies of Valhalla swarmed in. Dinner is served, Sam said. Chapter 13. Phil the Potato Meets His Doom. We were swept up in a tidal wave of hungry warriors, and Herjar poured, poured in from every direction, pushing, joking, and laughing as they headed for their seats. Hold on, Sam told me. She grabbed my wrist and we flew into the air Peter Pan style. I yelped, a little warning? I said, hold on. We skimmed above the heads of the warriors. Nobody paid us much attention except for one guy I accidentally kicked in the face. Other Valkyries were also zipping around, some escorting warriors, some carrying platters of food and pitchers of drink. We headed toward what was obviously the head table, where the home team would sit if this were a Celtics game. A dozen grim-looking dudes were taking their seats in front of golden plates and jewel-encrusted goblets. In the place of honor stood an empty wooden throne with a high back, where two ravens perched, grooming their feathers. Sam landed us at the table to the left. 12 other people were just getting seated. 2 girls and 4 guys in regular street clothes. 6 Valkyries dressed more or less like Sam. Other newcomers? I said. Sam nodded. Her eyebrows furrowed. 7 in one night is a lot. More heroes dying means more bad things are stirring in the world, which means she pursed her lips. Never mind, let's get seated. Before we would, a tall Vicar stepped in our path. Samira al-Abbas, what have you brought us tonight? Another half-troll? Perhaps a spy from your father? The girl looked about 18. She was big enough to play power forward, with snow-blonde hair in braids down either shoulder. Over her green dress she wore a bandolier of ball-peen hammers, which struck me as an odd choice of weapon. Maybe Walhalla had a lot of those loose nails. Around her neck hung a golden amulet shaped like a hammer. Her eyes were as pale blue and cold as the winter sky. Gunilla, Sam's voice tightened. This is Magnus Chase. I held out my hand. Gorilla? Pleased to meet you. The girl's nostrils flared. It's Gunilla, captain of the Valkyries, and you, newcomer? The foghorn I'd heard earlier echoed through the hall. This time I could see the source. Near the base of the tree, two guys held a black and white animal horn the size of a canoe, while a third guy blew into it. Thousands of warriors took their seats. Gorilla gave me one last stink eye, then spun on her knee and marched off to the head table. Be careful, Sam warned me. Gunilla is powerful. Also kind of a butt. The corner of Sam's mouth twitched. That too. She looked shaken, her knuckles white on the haft of her axe. I wondered what Gunilla had meant by a spy from your father, but since my windpipe was still sore from the last time I made Sam angry, I decided not to ask. I sat at the end of the table next to Sam, so I didn't get to talk to other newbies. Meanwhile, hundreds of Valkyries flew around the room, distributing food and drink. Whenever a Valkyrie pitcher was empty, she would swoop over the golden vat now bubbling over a large fire, fill her pitcher with yummy goat's milk mead, and continue serving. The main course came from a roasting pit at the other end of the room. Rotating on a 100-foot-long spit was the carcass of an animal. I wasn't sure what it had been when it was alive, but it was easily the size of a blue whale. A Valkyrie flew past. Blue whale. A Valkyrie flew past, depositing a platter of food and a goblet in front of me. I couldn't tell what the slices of meat were, but they smelled great, drizzled in gravy with potatoes on the side and thick slices of bread with butter. It had been a while since I had had a hot meal, but I still hesitated. What kind of animal am I eating? Sam wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. It's named Saiherimner. Okay, first of all, who names their dinner? I don't want to know my dinner's name. This potato. Is this potato named Steve? She rolled her eyes. No, stupid. That's Phil. The bread is Steve. I stared at her. Kidding, she said. Sakrimner is the magical beast of Valhalla. Every day they kill it and cook it for dinner. Every morning it's resurrected alive and well. That must suck for the animal, but it is like a cow or pig or is whatever you want it to be. My portion is beef. Different sections of that animal are chicken or pork. I don't do pork, but some of the guys here love it. What if I'm a vegetarian? What if I want falafel? Sam became very still. Was that some sort of joke? Why would it be a joke? I like falafel. Her shoulders relaxed. Well, if you want falafel, just ask for the left flank. That part is tofu and bean curd. They can spice it to taste like just about anything. You have a magic animal whose left flank is made of tofu. This is Valhalla, paradise for warriors in the service of Odin. Your food will taste perfect whatever you choose. My stomach was getting impatient, so I dug in. The barbecue had just the right mix of spicy and sweet. The bread was like a warm cloud with a buttery crust. Even Phil, the potato, tasted great. Not being a huge fan of free range. Yeah, potato is Phil and bread is Steve. Remember that. 哎，你的眼睛离那个太近了。Not being a huge fan of free-range goat milk, I was reluctant to try the meat, but the stuff in my goblet looked more like sparkling cider. I took a sip, sweet, but not too sweet, cold and smooth, with undercurrent I couldn't quite identify. Was that blackberry or honey or vanilla? I drained my glass. Suddenly my senses were on fire. It wasn't like alcohol. And yes, I've tried alcohol, thrown up, tried alcohol again, thrown up. The meat didn't make me giddy, dopey, or nauseous. It was more like iced espresso without the bitter taste. It woke me up, filling me with a warm sense of confidence, but with no edginess or racing heartbeat. That stuff is good, I admitted. A vicrix swooped in, refilled my cup, and flew away. I glanced at Sam, who was brushing breadcrumbs off her scarf. Do you ever do serving duty? Yeah, sure. We take turns. It's an honor to serve the Enharjar. She didn't even sound sarcastic. How many vicrix are there? Several thousand. How many in her jar? Sam puffed her cheeks. Tens of thousands? Like I said, this is just the first dinner. There are two other shifts for the older warriors. Valhalla has 540 doors. Each one is supposed to accommodate 800 warriors existing for battle at once. That would mean 432,000 in Hajar. That's a lot of tofu. She shrugged. Personally, I think the number is exaggerated, but only Odin knows for sure. We'll need a big army when Ragnarok rolls around. Ragnarok? I said. Doomsday, Sam said. When the 9 worlds are destroyed in a great conflagration, and the armies of gods and giants meet the battle of the last time. Oh, that Ragnarok. I scanned the sea of teenage fighters. I remembered my first day of public high school in Austin, a few months before my mom died, and my life turned to dumpster sludge. The school had around 2,000 kids. Between classes, the halls were sheer chaos. The cafeteria was like a piranha tank. 什么东西啊？piranha? It's not piranha. I mean, oh, the H is not piranha tank. But it was nothing compared to Valhalla. I pointed towards the head table. What about the fancy dude? Most of them look older. I wouldn't call them fancy dudes, Sam said. Those are the things, the lords of Valhalla. Each one was personally invited by Odin to sit at his table. So the empty throne is for Odin. Yes, he. Well, it's been a while since he's shown up for dinner, but his ravens watch everything and report back to him. Those ravens made me nervous with their beady black eyes. I got the feeling they were taking a particular interest in me. Sam pointed to the right of the throne. There is Eric Bloodaxe, and that is Eric and Red. A lot of Erics. There is Leif Erikson. Wow, but he's not wearing a metal bra. I'm going to ignore that comment. Over there is Snorri, then our charming friend Gunilla, then Lord Nelson and Davy Crockett. Davy, wait, seriously? At the end is Helgi, the hotel manager. You probably met him. Helgi seemed to be having a good time, laughing with Davy Crockett and chugging meat. Behind his chair, the bellhop Hunding stood, looking miserable, carefully peeling grapes and handing them to Helgi one at a time. What's the deal with the manager and Hunding? Sam made a sour face. Ancestral feud when they were alive. When they died, both made it to Valhalla, But Odin honored Helgi more. He put Helgi in charge of the hotel. Helgi's first order was that his enemy Harding would be his servant and do his manual tasks for all time. That doesn't seem like much for a paradise for Harding. Sam hesitated. In a quieter voice, she said, even in Valhalla, there is a pecking order. You don't want to be at the bottom. Remember, when the ceremony begins. At a high table, the Thanes began banging their cups on the table in unison. All around the hall, Anhajar joined in until the hall of the slain thundered with a metal heartbeat. Helgi stood and raised his goblet. The noise died down. Warriors! The manager's voice filled the hall. He looked so regal. It was hard to believe that he was the same guy who a few hours ago had offered me a suit upgrade, a suite upgrade, and a minibar key. 7 new felons have joined us today. That would be reason enough to celebrate. But we also have a special treat for you. Thanks to Valkyrie Captain Gunilla. Today, for the first time, we will not just hear about our newcomers' worthy deeds. We will be able to see them. Next to me, Sam made a choking sound. No, she muttered. No, no, no. Let the presentation of the dead commence. Helgi bellowed. 10,000 warriors turned and looked expectantly in my direction. Huh? Why?